Good morning, everyone. Yes, I am reading it, Rio. You can't get away from me, whatever you're saying. Good morning, everybody. Morning, Rio, Pat, Shirley, June, Sarah, Karen, Rosemary, Heather, Anne, Fiona, Teresa. Morning, Carol. Nice to see you. I knew it was Carol. There isn't very many other Hawklands around, or if that's how you pronounce it, probably isn't either. Good morning, Eunice. Hi, Jane. Speak to you later. So we are going on a little bit further today with the other couple of scene stamps from Nellie Snellen. And as you can see, this is one that I've got here, and I've got a couple of different ways of using them today. So I thought I would show you that. And obviously you're probably maybe aware that there is a big launch of the John Next Door Christmas range this evening on TV. So I've got to tell you all about that as well. And then I need your opinion about something. Well, seeing as I am English, that's how we're going for it. So morning, Sandra. So we're going to make two cards. We've got two different stamps, and this one is the first one, and this one is called Idyllic Wintry Scene. And if you look at the back of this package, you can see that we did that one on Wednesday, and they're such similar. That one's called Wintry House, and this one's called Vintage Wintry Scene. And this one's called Idyllic Wintry Scene. You know, they need a little bit of suggestions for different names, don't they? But anyway, we're doing this one, the Idyllic Vintage, oh, God oblige, Idyllic Wintry Scene. This one, which I like. So I'm going to show you two things first, though. So get my stamping platform out. And I'm going to be using today distress inks, and it's just because I can, just something different, but I just want to show you two different things to do with the distress inks. So I know I haven't cut that piece of paper properly because I can cut it down, got it right round the right way, but I just want to, before I do anything, is stamp it ordinarily and then show you what we can do to it, and then have something to refer back to so that we can say, oh yeah, that does look different. Okay, so I'm going to stamp it with a distress inks. It's not one of the oxides, it's the first version, which was just plain distress ink, and this one is actually in Stormy Sky. Okay, so the paper I'm using here is just ordinary white paper. It's not even stamping paper as such, card I should say. It's just the ordinary one, so nothing too spectacular. I just want to stamp that over. Might use it twice, don't know, but I'm just pressing that down. Yeah, I'm going to use that twice. It's a very, well, two things. One, it's a very pale colour, and the second is that it's quite an old ink pad. So I've used it quite a bit. So let's just give it another go over. I think that one will be better so that you can see the image itself. So yeah, so there is my image on there. Okay, so I'm not going to do any more to that one. I'm just going to pop that to one side for the moment, and then I'm going to take another piece of card which I've already cut out, and I'm going to need to just protect it a little bit because I should probably need to move this over first. Okay, so let's just, so I've cut that basically to size beforehand, and I have been using, to cut it to size, I've been using the back in stock I should say, nesting dies from Press Cuts, and I'm pleased to say I have at long last got my own set of the proper square ones. Pleased about that. I had to wait a long time to get those. But they are on the website if anyone didn't manage to get any, and they are on a special offer at the moment. So do go over and have a look at that. So I'm just going to ink this one all up again. So I'm doing exactly the same paper or card, same, I'll take these out, do not want them in. Same ink, Stormy Sky, Distress Inks, not Distress Oxide. And I'm going to do that one more time. I was thinking it's very funny how when I was looking at you all telling, well, including me, was telling each other what the weather was like in our part of the world. Isn't it funny how we do that? But yeah, it was such a miserable day here yesterday. But it's better today, so we're a little bit happier today. So I'm just going to go over that one more time because I just want it to be a bit more defined. Okay, so there we are. Now I'm just going to move this to one side because I don't want that for the moment. So I'll take a scrap bit of paper here. So now I've got myself one of the watercolor, the aqua water inks, pens rather. So you've got the barrel of water in there. Possibly you can see that moving around. And I've got the small tip. Just need to take off using it with a different colour. That's what I like about it. You just need to have a scrap bit of paper and just take off the colour and it's clean. It's also got a special valve in it. Some of the cheap ones, which I've bought before now, just flood. And that's not what we're about. It's got a special valve in there, so it just gives a very small amount of water as you go. So as I said, this paper is ordinary paper. So it's card. It's not watercolour. And all I'm going to do with my aqua pen is I'm just going to go over some of the lines. So as you can see, there is no skill involved in this. All I'm doing is just scribbling over the actual lines of, in this case, first of all, the hills and the lines of where the trees are, a bit of the fields. Okay. And then on that path, just going to sort of smudging it, I suppose you could say, really. You could say blending and you could say being very arty, but I'd just say I'm smudging it, basically. What I'm trying to show you is that you too can smudge it. So it has to be one of the sort of one of the distress inks to get as good a result. But you can try other inks. The dye-based inks will blend as well like that. So on the pattern, on the stamp, you can see where I'm going. You have got the light shining on here, so it's making it look a funny colour on that bit. But I'm just going over wherever it looks as if there's a bit of shading. That's where I'm picking up my line. Okay, forgotten that bit of hill up there. So then when I'm going on to the trees here, I'm going to pick up some of these lines. You can sort of come back to it to a certain extent, but you wouldn't want to leave it too long because it will dry, the inks will dry. And although you can still move it, you don't really want to be moving it forevermore. And I'm just picking up along those lines. So I'm not putting any more colour. I'm just using the colour that's actually on the stamp, so the ink that was on there, just blending in some of the trees, just going over the edges. Obviously you could use it in any colour, but I was still thinking along wintry lines, and I think we're still okay with using a blue there. Okay. I did notice there's a little bird on there as well. There's a lot of detail in these stamps. They are really good. And I love the scene stamps. I just, whether they be the 2J ones or the Nellie Snellen, I think they're all really lovely and very simple to get as a detailed card, but one that's nice and flat to post, because we're always thinking about that, aren't we? So I think that'll do for there. So that's my painting for that. Anyone can paint for that. Then I am going to take some of my Stormy Sky again, and I'm going to use one of the smaller sets of blending brushes. And because I've already cut this out, I know that it is to size. And I'm just going to go around. I'm going to pick up this so that it blends a bit more. This is one of the blending mats, small blending mats, and I'm just going to, it does seem to blend better than doing it on a piece of card, to be honest with you. So I'm just going to go around the edges, just bringing exactly the same colour in. Okay, so that I'm just giving it a bit of a defined look as I'm going around. Okay, whoops, I was looking what you were doing, what you were saying. Morning, Catherine. I haven't taken the register yet, so the fact that you're late is okay. You just made it. We don't want any late marks. So I'm just going to go all the way around the edge, and it doesn't matter if I go over the actual image as well, because that's okay. And just defining all those edges just by, I particularly work on the corners so that it sort of draws your eye into the picture itself. So I will go all the way around and then I will work back on them. Okay. So nearly there. So I've made sure that I've gone all the way around the edges, and then I'm just going to come in on this corner bit, as I say, just to bring your notice into the corner. So I'm going over, as you can probably see, I'm going over the actual picture itself as well. So sort of just blending and softening it. So if you can see that now, I think you can. Let's just take that away. Your eyes are now drawn into, sorry, there's a light of the camera there, isn't it? They're drawn in more to the centre because I've put the dark around the outside and drawn in more to the centre. Okay, so haven't quite finished. Let's put that lid on, bring that back in again. So now I'm going to take a quickie glue pen. So I'm sure you've come across these before, but they are like a roller pen, a gel roll pen, but they are filled with glue. So if you wanted to write your name and then put glitter all over it or something, it's perfect just for those really fine things or very small embellishments that you want to pick up. But in this case, what we're going to do is just put a bit of it down randomly onto this tree. I just want to check that it is, because I need to, yeah. You can't see it because it comes out blue but dries completely clear. But when I'm doing it on blue, it's just a little bit more difficult to see. So I'm just putting it randomly there, not in any particular place. And then I'm going to take some glitter, and I'm just going to pop that and see if you can see. Oh yeah, can you see that, how that's glittering? Yeah. So just pick up that bit. So I'm going to put a little bit more on. Going to put a little bit on these trees as well. So just a little bit. It's just going to pick those trees up. Just bring that back in again. And just can use any glitter. I've got, in this case, I've got the Distress Stickles glitter, but put it on there as well, having put some glue on there. But you can possibly now see that that's really picking up the glitter. Hopefully you can. Looking good, looking good. Now, I've got one more little sentiment that I want to put on. And let's put the lid on that. And put the lid back on there. Okay, so I just want to add a little sentiment. And we used a couple of weeks ago one of the Crafts 2 Christmas sleigh sets, and I particularly like this one, this Merry Christmas. So I'm going to use that. Put my stamping platform back. Now, the only thing with distress inks that I found is that they don't stamp, they're not a fine based pad. So unfortunately, when you're going to pop a sentiment in, they aren't as clear and crisp as I personally would like them. However, I'm going to pop it in that little corner there. However, I think that if I then changed it to then, even if it was another blue or a grey or a black, I think it looks better to go for the same colour, to be honest, even if it's not quite as crisp as I would personally prefer it. But I think you'll agree when I whiz it over. So I've popped it in position, just going to gently press that down. You see what I mean? It's not as crisp as perhaps I would like it, but it is in the same colour and it kind of looks all vintage sepia type of thing. I'm just going to turn the light off in here because I don't like the way it's showing the, that's better, so showing the shadows. Because there's enough shadows, we don't want any more, thanks. So I'm going to pop that back. I mean, there's some lovely sentiments on there, but I just think, or thought, that that one was particularly good because it sort of looked old-fashioned. So I have already cut myself out with the coordinating rectangle, a frame for it. So that one was cut out with the plain and this one was cut out with the stitch dot. And if you look carefully, you can see that beautiful stitch dot effect. And I think that does really give it a lovely frame. So I'm just going to pop some glue on the back. And because it's not watercolour card, I think I can get away with that type of glue. Pop that onto my card like that, and then that's going to go onto a 5x7 card base. I can grab hold of it. So the stamp itself is about 14 by 10, I think it is, as a finish. And again, with the rectangles of the dies, the cutting dies, they are done so that they fit in with our 5x7s and that, if you see what I mean. They are, you know, so we've had so many rectangles in the past where you went to put them on here and they would be too much down there or not enough down there or whatever. But these have been designed so that they do fit in perfectly to them. So there's my finished one. And I think that you can see, probably not now, turn the light off, but anyway, you know that there's glitter and everything. But this is in comparison to the one that I started off with. So this is if I just stamped it and did absolutely nothing with it. It's still very pretty, but just add a bit of water and pull those colours out. Does the watercolour card absorb the glue? Hold on, I don't know what you're talking about. Wait a minute. Don't know. Does the watercolour card absorb the glue? I have tons of glitter too. Wouldn't like to say how many publicly. Oh, well, no. It doesn't matter what glue. Any glue. Glue. It doesn't matter what glitter. Any glitter. I just like that one today. Why not? Anyway, but as I say, the difference in that, I think, and really, let's face it, I'd like to say it was very skilled, but it really isn't. Anybody could achieve that. Oh, okay. Water, if we're talking about this quickie glue gun for watercolour card, is absolutely fine as well. And in fact, I'm going to use watercolour card in just a second. Not that I'm adding glitter to it, to be fair, but I'm just going to use it. But I just wanted to show you that you could stamp this stamp on any card that you've got and achieve this look on any card that you've got. If you did it on watercolor cards, you would find that the lines would not be quite so well defined because the watercolor card would soak the water in quicker, and so you wouldn't have so much blending. You just have to work a bit harder on it, really, but that's it. Okay, so now, because we're, you know, time's ticking on, another card to show you, another card to do. Hold on a second, let's pick up everything here. So this time I am going to use a piece of watercoloured card, and I'm going to use the, hold on, lost the stamp now. Okay, who's pinched the stamp? Did I just take it off? It's not that one. Well, who's pinched it then? One of those little fairies been in here. Aha, there you are, you little devil. Okay, so let's take that off. And we're going to bring in this one, which is called, I don't know. Anyone know? Probably some wintry scene or something, isn't it? No, I think it's called the water scene or something. I'm just going to pop a random piece of watercolor card into my stamping platform, and I'm going to put my stamp down roughly in the middle. Okay, and then I'm going to pick that up, and I'm going to stamp it this time with Memento, and then I'm going to have to dry it off a bit. So it's in the black Memento, and I do need to make sure it's dried off a little bit, because I do want to use some watercolor techniques with this one. So let's just stamp that down. And then one more time. I want you to be able to see it. It's a pretty one. It's in their winter or their Christmas range, but it really, and I'm going to show you, is not just for Christmas, this one. Because we can make it as Christmassy or as not Christmassy as one would like. But I think you can see there that it's a beautiful crisp image. Yeah. So I'm going to take that to one side, and I'm just going to heat set that because I don't want it to blend. So it isn't, nor ordinarily you wouldn't really need to dry this, but because I want to just do some watercolouring on it, I just need to make sure that that is as dry as possible, as quickly as possible. And therefore, I'm just going to whiz that. Don't have a lot of patience for things to dry, me, but there you go. I think that that will be as dry as we're probably going to get it just at the minute there. So I'm going to take my same pen, and I'm going to take one of my little blending mats, which has disappeared underneath here, and I'm going to pop a bit of the Stormy Sky onto the blending mat so that I can pick a bit of that up. Okay, like that. And I'm just simply going to pick it up with my brush, and I'm going to go over wherever I think, first of all, the water would be, because if you look at it, it's like an inlet. This is supposed to be. It's down here. As you can see, the ink wasn't quite dry there because I've picked up some of it. I'm not going to do a square picture, if you see what I mean. It's just going to be loose lines. And also, of course, the sky would be blue. So you can't get much more basic than that. Wherever it's sky, we're going to put some blue in. Wherever it's the sea, we're going to put some blue in. Just going to be careful as I go over my lovely little birds there, because I don't want them to blend too much. Okay, and as it's watercolour, you can probably see that this is drying almost as soon as I put it on there. Plus, just to rub it into the people that have got rain today, it's warm in it. So, but we don't worry about that just at the moment. So I'm going to take that one off there, and I'm just going to clean my brush so that I've got no more colour of my blue on there. Then I'm going to take pine needles, and I'm going to put a little bit of colour onto there. And that's again as a distress ink, not an oxide. So I'm going to take some of the green, and wherever there should be green, I'm going to put in a bit of green. And when I say just put it in, as you can see, I am literally just scribbling it wherever I think there would be a bit of green. Okay, so I'm not colouring up to the lines. Scribble is what I'm doing really. And I think we got a little bit on the grass here. Some of these trees would be a bit there. Does look as if it's in the winter with a bit of snow, I suppose, but so just a bit of green there. Okay, and then I'm going to clear that off, and I'm going to put down some brushed corduroy, again distress inks. So we want a little bit of brown. So just make sure that that is all clean. And as you can see, I've not needed to add any more water to this. It's just picking it up just the right amount. So here we've got some rocks, and they're kind of blending in with the background of the green meadow or whatever it is, riverbank, that's what it is. And I've probably gone over where it should have been a bit of blue and not done a bit of green where it should have been a bit of green. But I think you will agree that because there is so much detail in the actual stamp, it really doesn't matter. That there's white space in it as well. I haven't coloured up to the line. And to me, if you're no colourist, there's a certain range of things that came out just recently that I think that you'd have to be a really good colourist in order to be able to achieve really good things. And not everybody is. I mean, I do enjoy colouring and I'm sort of okay with it, but I know that everybody isn't. And I don't want to put people off being able to achieve really lovely things by not doing things like that. So I'm going to then take my plain square die and I'm going to pop that over the top, and I'm going to stick that down. Just want to cut that out. So I'm not cutting it so that it's up to that bit. I'm just literally putting a frame around it. Okay, so there's lots of white space and I don't want to colour right up to it. I'm just going to run that through my machine. Do you know what? I see that you're getting phone calls from people. I really... Oh, he likes it, does he? Oh, that's good, Jill. I'm glad about that. If your hubby likes it, well, it's got to be good then, isn't it? Why is it that people phone and do things when you want half an hour to yourself? I don't know. They do, though. They do. I'm going to pop a sentiment onto here. So again, if you can imagine, going back to our other card, just whip that one in again. If I had done this one maybe in the same colour or sepia colour, brownie colour, something, and I put glitter on it, that too would be a Christmas scene. Yeah, but like this, it is not a Christmas scene. It is most definitely a winter, a beautiful scene, shall we say. Now, I've taken a stamp from the kindness section, and I'm going to use that with my memento. Now, I was talking to a lovely lady in Australia this morning, as you do, Vi, who was saying that she was having trouble with one of her detailed stamps. And so just as a tip, she was using a platform, and I'm going to use that same platform to show you that when she was using it, she wasn't getting all the fine detail. I'm just going to hold that into place because I want to stamp. So what we were saying was that she needed to have a bit of foam or something behind it. Now, I know I'm just using a stamping platform and now I've got an acrylic block in my hand, which is pretty dangerous, just in case it doesn't come out. But the whole point is that you need to be able to push onto something that gives when you're putting stamps down like this. Okay. So, because if you remember, I think we've said it before, but if you get an old stamp or the mounted ones, the wooden block ones, they have got the foam already on them and these haven't. So you need to provide that bit of cushioning so that it pushes in and gets all that detail. Likewise, gets all the detail of the sentiment so that you can read it clearly. And again, going back to that, well, I know I'm being fussy, but that you can read perfectly, but that one not quite so well because the definition isn't there because of using the distress inks with it. Okay, so let's just pop it on and finish it and make it into a card. So I have already cut out a stitched black one, and I think again you can see that beautiful detail here of the stitch dot. Love it, love it. I'm gonna have to be careful as I turn that over and pop some okay then, where's that gone now? Dear oh dear, I would be dangerous, wouldn't I, if I was organised. Let's have some of this. I'm going to put some sticky double-sided tape on just to, because this is watercolour and because it just, as it's absorbed water, not copious loads of it, but as it has absorbed water, it does tend to get a little bit bowed, and I do not want it to be bowed on my front of my card. So whilst I'm just taping this down, I just wanted to have a little chat with you because I'd like some opinions, please, if you can. I used to, before lockdown and everything, I used to be doing a monthly card kit, and that has changed because I'm not doing them at the moment, and I'm wondering what your thoughts are along that, if you would like me to return to do the monthly card kit. And that is where you get the stamps and dies and whatever, not the online class, that is something completely different, but we used to do a monthly card kit, and wondering if that's something that you'd still like to do. I'm mounting up on craft card this time, and this is a 6x6 one. Also I'm wondering whether the monthly card kit should go along the lines of doing like a craft along. I don't know if I'm being over ambitious there, but I'd be interested in what your thoughts are. Yeah, I know some people have missed the card kits. Fiona, she's not moaning, is she? What is she moaning? Oh, doing with her moaning. Fiona, it's Sunday. I've been up since 4 o'clock. I'm so excited about seeing you all. Well, that's not really why I was up so early, but still, I was up early because our bloody seagulls wake me up. Ugh. I'm moving and it ain't going to be near the coast. Right. I'm just going to pop that onto my 6x6 card and pop that in there. So, two very different results, really, but from the same type of stamp. So one where I wanted to go a little bit more artistic, shall we say, and give it a bit of colour and certainly make it into a non-Christmas card. And this one where if only I had my light back on again, you would particularly be able to see that the fact that you've got glitter on it and it's shining, and now you can't see a thing really. But believe me, in real life, it does glitter and glisten beautifully. So both of those stamps, and if you missed them on last Wednesday, you've got the other of the Nellie Snellen stamps as well. So to remind you that this one is called the Idyllic Wintry Scene. And that one is called Watery Scene or something. But I mean, that one's quite definite, isn't it? Okay. You've also got the nesting dies back on there as well. And then last but by no means least, you have seen some sneak peeks that myself and the other angels have been showing. But I think you are going to love when we all say, oh, Christmas, oh, I've got enough Christmas dies and enough Christmas stuff to last a lifetime, and then comes something that you can't live without. So join John on Hochanda this evening at 6 o'clock, and you will see some beautiful work. I've got one of the cards here that I put on the website just recently, showcasing quite a few of the bits and pieces, but also mixing and matching them with dies that we've already got, which was the decorative corners here. But the sentiments are so lovely. When I first saw them, I thought we had to cut out every single letter, and I thought, oh, that's not going to happen. But actually, they're just so clever that you can see whatever colour it is behind them so perfectly. And then you've got the pinstripe poinsettia, you've got the beautiful stamens, these lovely Leslie's twigs. I can see why she went on and on about it to him to do them, because they are going to be so lovely in many floral displays on cards that I'm going to be doing in the future. That's an absolute must-have all the time, I think. Beautiful coloured cards. Some of the glitter cards here. I've got the silver, the blue and the pink, but there are some beautiful colours. So you will see all those later. Loads and loads of stuff. So that's after 6 o'clock. Okay. But so for today, back to our thing. Artistic, but not artistic. So easy to do. And as we said, at the end of the day, nice and flat, goes through your ordinary letter. Boom, done. Whether it be Christmas or just to say hello or whatever you like. Lovely man's card, maybe. So, yeah. So, let me just answer some of the questions that I can see. So with the craft online workshops that we do, that is a bit different to what I was suggesting, a craft-along thing. So let me just explain it to you. And I will put it up on the Facebook page as well, so that you can see what my thoughts are. Okay, so the craft online workshop works and has been working for a couple of years almost now, whereby you join me live on whatever the date is. In this case, it's on Monday and Saturday, but I'm afraid those are full, so I can't take any more on those at the moment. And we will make cards. You will receive a pack with all the items that you need, apart from obviously your basics like your glue, and you need your trimmer and bits and pieces like that. But you're given a list of what you need to do. And the beauty of that is that I can talk to you and you can talk to me and all the other groups members. So it's as if we're going to class, but we're not. We're in our own homes, in our own craft room, or on the settee, just watching, because there is a video link sent to you afterwards with all of the projects that we have made. So if you just fancy sitting and watching and having a cup of tea at the time instead of working along at the same time, that's absolutely fine. Okay. But what I'm thinking of, so the monthly kits were whereby I made a card and then I sent, so let's say, for example, I made this card and I would then send you the basic card anything that needs cutting out, and probably, let's say in this case, the pinstripe poinsettia, and you make the card at your own rate whenever you want to, written instructions with photographs, but that's it. So I was trying to think of something that would be in between, and the in between would be a trial run of sending out monthly card kits, but there being an accompanied video that can be watched at any time you like. And also you can carry on working with me at the same time as you wish. So if you wish, you can be sitting there making the cards, or if not, you can watch the video along at any time along. But they would only be for one kit, one project. We wouldn't be making like the craft online workshop that we'll be doing. We're actually going to be making 4 cards. So I'm going to work those ladies really hard. No, not really. It's just techniques and just enjoying ourselves. So thoughts for you to think about. The video would be available to everybody. That is the difference, really. The video, if I was going to do it as a craft along, would be available to everybody. But the video that I do, because everybody, as you know, with the workshop as they are at the moment, all get a private video link, and nobody can see those because they are a bit different. Okay, so something to think about. I just don't know which way that we're going to go to, because my real life workshops still seem to be a little bit out of reach at the moment. Obviously the halls that are in, they're not open just at the moment, but I'm hoping that they will be soon. And I really appreciate everybody's support in these last few months, because it hasn't been easy for many of you, having to bye Rosemary. For many of you have had to shield and not been out and only just venturing out. And even when you are venturing out, it's a very different world out there. And I very much appreciate your time and joining me and everything. And I hope that you have learned a few things along the way. But it's just taking it a bit step further, or sort of like a step differently. Carol, if you want to make 4 cards, there are 4 cards, okay? But you don't have to. And that is the beauty of all of them. As I said, if you don't, on the online workshops, you receive absolutely everything to make the cards, apart from your basics like a paper trimmer and things like that. Obviously, you'd have that at home. But if you just want to sit there with a cup of tea, have a natter, person to person, because that's the beauty of it, not just typing like you're doing at the moment, it's actually being able to see somebody. And yeah, I think that is, well, for the ladies that have joined me, I think you'll have agreed that has been brilliant, that we can actually talk to people. And you know, if you don't want to do anything at the time, you don't have to. If you want to make 1 card and then you think, do you know what, I just want to sit and watch, that's right, okay, have a natter, we can do that as well. We put the world to rights with that. But the workshops, the craft along type of thing, would be different. It would just basically be, you get your kit and there will be a time for you to watch along live, but otherwise it will be there for you to watch later on. Okay, so thoughts. I'm not going to finish the online studios like this. I actually really enjoy doing them, and I think that most people enjoyed watching them as well. So yeah, I think that unless I start to get fewer and fewer people, that's a different matter. But at the moment, I'm still keeping the numbers up really well. And that reminds me, when I understand, but I don't know quite how that works. when this finishes and goes back online and it loads up to YouTube, there's comments. I know you're commenting at the moment with the live chat, but there's comments at the bottom that you can add. And I understand that if you do that, if you say, well, I was going to say, if you say what a wonderful card it is, but you might want to say, well, what the hell did you do that for? Whatever it is that you'd like to say, do comment, because apparently that gets it shown more, or more available on the sort of algorithms or whatever it's called of wonderful old YouTube. So there you go. Okay, so I've been nattering on. Thoughts would be interesting for me if you have got the time later on over on the Facebook page, so we can have a proper natter. Hope you enjoyed the cards. I enjoyed making them for you. Have a lovely day, whether it's raining or sunny. Enjoy your day. Make the most of it. We're all alive. Keep safe, and look forward to seeing you next week on Wednesday. I shall be here Wednesday morning at 11 o'clock. Okay. Oh, and don't forget the Christmas stuff later on. Thanks. Bye.